The night. I'd always heard about the dark web, the place where all your worst nightmares come to life. I thought it was a joke, honestly. People made it sound like a playground for psychopaths and hackers, but I figured most of it was an urban legend. Hell, I'd even used it a few times for harmless curiosity, poking around hidden forums and checking out weird conspiracy theories. But this time was different. It all started late one night. It was raining hard outside, the kind of night where you don't want to leave the house. I'd been messing around online for hours, bouncing between sites, watching videos, scrolling social media, but nothing was holding my attention. I was bored and restless. That's when I decided to dive into the dark web again. I opened Tor, cracked my knuckles, and started navigating through familiar territory. Everything felt the same: shady forums, black market ads, weird hidden communities, but I wasn't looking for anything specific. I just wanted to see if I could find something different. Something I hadn't seen before. I was about ready to call it a night when I stumbled across a post on one of the forums I frequented. The title was simply, *Room of Light. It didn't stand out much, just a simple black screen with white text, but something about it pulled me in. The description was vague, * enter the room and know the truth. But once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you enter, you cannot leave. Below that was a link. No further explanation. No warnings, no promises, just the words Room of Light and the link. I should have known better. Everything about it screamed *, do not click. But you know how it is when you're curious. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. I figured it was just some weird art project, like one of those creepy interactive websites where they try to freak you out with jump scares or unsettling images. So, against my better judgment, I clicked the link. The page took a few seconds to load, and for a moment, I thought it might be a dead end. But then, the screen went black. Suddenly, a message appeared, * we are watching you. I blinked. It felt like a generic scare tactic, so I laughed it off. But when I moved my mouse to exit, the cursor froze. The screen flickered, and a new message popped up, * don't leave now. You're just starting to see. Then the page shifted. The black screen was replaced with a live video feed. At first, it looked like just another dark room, bare walls, concrete floor, a single, dim light bulb swinging from the ceiling. The camera was pointed at the far wall, where there was a door. The door was closed, and nothing else seemed to be happening. I watched for a minute, maybe two, waiting for something to move, for some jump scare to pop out. But nothing did. Just as I was about to shut it down, the door in the video creaked open. I froze. My heart thudded in my chest as I stared at the screen. A figure stepped through the door, slowly, cautiously. It was a person, but there was something wrong with them. They were dressed in rags, their skin pale and gaunt, like they hadn't seen sunlight in years. But what really got me was their face, if you could call it a face. It was more like a mask, a smooth, blank surface with no features. No eyes, no mouth, no nose. Just a white, empty face. They moved toward the camera with slow, deliberate steps, as if they knew I was watching. As if they could see me. A message appeared on the screen, *, are you ready to see more? I clicked *, no. Nothing happened. I clicked it again, harder this time. The figure kept walking toward the camera. My skin prickled as the screen flickered, the video jumping slightly with each step they took. Another message, *, it's too late to stop now. *, I yanked the power cord out of my laptop, the screen going black immediately. For a second, I sat there, staring at the blank screen, my breath coming fast. My heart was pounding in my ears, and I told myself it was just some sick interactive horror site. Someone trying to scare people for fun. But as I sat there in the dark, I heard a sound that made my blood run cold. A knock. It was soft at first, like someone tapping on a window. But it was coming from inside my apartment. Slowly, I turned my head toward the door to my bedroom. Another knock. I stood up, gripping the edge of my desk, staring at the door. My apartment was small, only a few rooms, and I knew for a fact that I was alone. I lived alone. I hadn't even ordered takeout. Then the knock came again. Louder this time, more insistent. It wasn't coming from the front door. It was coming from the closet. I wanted to run, to get out of my apartment and leave this whole night behind me, but my legs wouldn't move. They felt like they were glued to the floor. The knocking grew louder, now like someone banging on the inside of the closet door, trying to get out. My stomach turned. There was no way anyone could be in my closet. I hadn't opened it in days, and it was locked from the outside. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to move, one slow step at a time, until I was standing in front of the closet door. It was quiet now. No more knocking. I stood there, staring at the door, my hand trembling as I reached for the handle. I hesitated, feeling the cold sweat trickle down the back of my neck. My breath came in shallow gasps, and my heart felt like it was about to explode. But I had to know. I had to see it. I unlocked the door and yanked it open. Nothing. The closet was empty, just clothes and old boxes. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding and laughed, shaking my head. It was all in my head, I told myself. The website messed with me and freaked me out. But then, I felt it. A cold breeze, like someone breathing on the back of my neck. I turned around, and there, standing in the doorway to my bedroom, was the figure from the video. The same pale skin, the same ragged clothes, the same blank, featureless face. Except this time, it wasn't on a screen. It was right in front of me. I stumbled back, slamming into the wall, my mind racing to make sense of what I was seeing. This couldn't be real. This had to be a dream, a hallucination, something. But the figure moved closer. Slowly. Methodically. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. My throat felt like it was closing up. The figure reached out a hand, its fingers long and bony, and touched my face. The coldness of its skin sent a shock through my entire body, freezing me in place. Then, as if on cue, the figure began to change. Its blank face started to warp, twisting and shifting. Slowly, features began to form, eyes, a nose, a mouth. But it wasn't just any face. It was my face. I watched in horror as the figure's face morphed into a perfect reflection of me. It was like looking into a mirror, except the eyes were dead, hollow, and filled with something dark and ancient. It smiled, a slow, sickening grin that sent chills down my spine. Then it spoke, in my voice, but twisted, like hearing myself through a broken speaker. You shouldn't have looked. I tried to run, but my legs wouldn't move. I was frozen, trapped, as the figure, my asterisk reflection, stepped even closer. Its hand still on my face, it leaned in and whispered, "You can't escape what you've seen." And then, everything went black. When I woke up, I was on the floor, my laptop lying next to me, screen cracked. I was drenched in sweat, my heart still racing. The apartment was quiet, too quiet, and the air felt thick and suffocating. I don't know how long I was out, or if any of what I experienced was real. But ever since that night, nothing has felt the same. Every time I close my eyes, I see that figure. That version of me, staring back, with those dead, hollow eyes. And the worst part? I'm not alone anymore. Sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet, I hear it. The knock. Soft at first, but getting louder. Always coming from the closet. And I know, one day, I'll have to open that door again. But I'm not sure if I'll be the one who comes out. The watcher. Alright, let me preface this by saying I'm not some noob who just stumbled onto the dark web for the first time. I'd been poking around the weird corners of the internet for years. What started as innocent curiosity turned into an obsession with uncovering the strange, disturbing, and unexplained. I'm not proud of it, but after you've seen enough of the mainstream, you get a thirst for more, you know. It was a Saturday night when things went sideways. I was a few beers deep, alone in my apartment, browsing the dark web like I'd done hundreds of times before. I wasn't looking for anything in particular, just bouncing between forums and markets, seeing if something would catch my eye. That's when I came across a post with no title. It was just a blank line where the thread title should have been. Normally, that would have been a dead giveaway to stay away, but like I said, I was a little buzzed and curious. So, I clicked. The thread itself was short, almost like a haiku, asterisk, they see what you don't, through the cracks in your own world, dare to look deeper. Asterisk beneath it was a link, nothing more. The URL was a jumbled mess of numbers and letters, which isn't unusual for the dark web, but this one looked off. Like, just looking at the string of characters made my skin crawl. Against my better judgment, I copied it, pasted it into Tor, and hit enter. The page loaded instantly. No lag, no spinning wheel, just boom. There it was. At first glance, the site was simple. A black background with a single white box in the center. In the box was a question, asterisk, do you wish to see? Asterisk and below it, two options, yes and asterisk, no. Asterisk I've seen creepy setups before, so this didn't faze me too much. I assumed it was just some art project or a weird social experiment, but something about the phrasing made me pause. Do you wish to see? See what, exactly? Maybe it was the alcohol, or maybe I was just bored, but I clicked asterisk, yes. Asterisk the screen blinked, and the white box was replaced by a grainy, live video feed. The camera was shaky like it was being held by someone who didn't know what they were doing, but the setting was unmistakable. It was a bedroom. A very familiar bedroom. It was my bedroom. At first, I thought it was some kind of glitch or joke. Maybe they'd hacked my webcam or something, except the angle was all wrong. The camera was positioned in the corner of the room, near the ceiling, facing my bed. I didn't have a camera there. The feed was live, there was no delay. I could see my unmade bed, the stack of clothes in the corner, and even the cup I'd left on the nightstand. I felt a sudden wave of nausea. My chest tightened. I jumped out of my chair and ran to my bedroom. I scanned every inch of the ceiling, the corners, and even behind the furniture. No camera. Nothing. But when I looked at my laptop screen from the doorway, the feed was still live. Still showing my room from an impossible angle. Then, something moved. In the video, I saw a dark shape crawl out from under my bed. It was barely human-shaped, a mass of shadow and limbs, like a person, but wrong. Its limbs were too long, its body bent at unnatural angles, and its head, oh God, its head. It was crooked and twisted, with no face to speak of, just a blank, featureless surface. It crawled across the floor, moving in a jerky, unnatural way, until it stopped right next to the camera, looking directly into the lens. The thing was staring at me, but there were no eyes, no mouth, nothing to indicate it could see. I slammed the laptop shut and backed away, my heart hammering in my chest. This was some kind of sick prank, right? Maybe some elaborate hack, but it couldn't be real. It just couldn't. I went to my fridge, grabbed a bottle of water, and tried to calm down. Maybe I'd had too much to drink, or maybe it was just my mind playing tricks on me. After all, I'd seen enough horror movies to know how your brain can mess with you in the dark. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I didn't want to open my laptop again. I didn't want to see whatever the hell that thing was. After what felt like an eternity, I worked up the courage to check. Slowly, I lifted the lid of my laptop, half expecting the screen to be blank or frozen. But no, the feed was still there. The creature was gone, and the camera was back to just showing my empty bedroom. I sat there, staring at the screen, trying to make sense of it. But before I could even process what I was seeing, a new box popped up on the website. This time, the question was different. Asterisk, do you wish to continue? Asterisk beneath it, there was only one option. Asterisk, yes. Asterisk, I hesitated. My instincts were screaming at me to shut it down, to just walk away, but something kept me glued to the screen. Against my better judgment, I clicked asterisk, yes. Asterisk, the video feed shifted again, this time to another room, a dark, damp basement. The walls were covered in what looked like mold, and the floor was bare concrete. In the center of the frame was a wooden chair, and in that chair, someone was tied up. It was a man, gagged and blindfolded, his arms strapped to the chair with thick ropes. He was shaking, struggling, trying to scream through the gag, but no sound came out. Then, from the shadows, that same creature emerged. It moved the same way as before, jerky and unnatural, its limbs too long, its body bent in impossible ways. It circled the man like a predator stalking its prey. I watched in horror as the creature leaned in close to the man's face as if whispering something. But there was no sound, no audio, just the silent, horrifying image of this thing torturing its victim. Suddenly, the screen flickered, and a message appeared, asterisk, you're next. Asterisk, I froze. I felt my stomach drop, my hands went cold, and for a second, I couldn't breathe. The video feed zoomed in on the man's face, and I realized with sickening clarity, it was me. The man in the chair, it was me. The door to my apartment creaked open. I didn't move. I couldn't. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what was happening. The sound of slow, deliberate footsteps echoed down the hallway, getting closer and closer. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, but the call wouldn't go through. No signal. I could hear the footsteps now, right outside my room. I grabbed the baseball bat from under my bed, gripping it tight, my palms slick with sweat. The door handle rattled, then slowly turned. I raised the bat, ready to swing at whatever came through. The door creaked open, but there was nothing. No one. Just the empty hallway. I lowered the bat, my heart pounding in my chest, but the sense of dread didn't go away. I backed up, inching toward my laptop, and glanced at the screen. The video feed was still there, still showing my bedroom. But now, someone was standing in the corner. It was me. No, not me. It looked like me, but its face was twisted, like a reflection in a broken mirror. Its eyes were wrong, too, just hollow black holes. It stared at me through the screen, grinning. Then, without warning, the screen went black, and the only thing left was a single line of text, asterisk, you cannot hide from what you see. Asterisk, I haven't been able to sleep since. Every time I close my eyes, I see that thing standing in the corner, watching me. It's only a matter of time before it steps out of the screen, and into my reality. The web. I've always been into weird stuff. You know, the kind of person who falls asleep to conspiracy theory videos and loves digging into the unknown. So, it wasn't surprising when I explored the dark web out of curiosity. I'd heard all the warnings, drugs, hitmen, illegal stuff. But I wasn't interested in any of that. I just wanted to see if there was anything truly bizarre or supernatural lurking in the corners of the internet. That's where things got strange. I downloaded Tor, set everything up, and spent hours browsing random forums. Most of it was boring, like black market junk or sketchy-looking links that I wasn't dumb enough to click on. But then, one night, I stumbled across something different. The forum was called Asterisk, Hidden Truths Unveiled. Asterisk, it looked basic, almost like a 90s website. No flashy design, just a plain black background with white text. The tagline read, asterisk, what they don't want you to know. Asterisk, I figured it was just more conspiracy nonsense, but I was bored, so I clicked around. The topics were bizarre. How to summon demons, time travel experiments gone wrong, government agents watching you. But there was one thread that caught my eye. It was called Asterisk, the Hidden Web. Asterisk, the description said, Asterisk, access a site that shows you what the internet can't. But be warned, once you enter, there's no going back. Asterisk, I should have closed my laptop right then and there, but of course, I didn't. Curiosity killed the cat, right? The post had a link, but not like a regular URL. It was just a series of random numbers and letters. The kind of link that didn't look safe. Against my better judgment, I copied and pasted it into Tor. The page took forever to load. When it finally did, it looked like a live stream. A grainy video feed, like something from an old security camera. I was staring at a dark, empty room. Nothing special, no sound, just nothing. I almost closed it out when suddenly, a chat window popped up on the side of the screen. Welcome. I stared at the message for a second, wondering if it was some automated bot or if someone was actually watching me. Then, another message, you're not supposed to be here. My heart started racing. I didn't know what to type back, so I didn't respond. The video feed flickered, and I noticed something move in the corner of the room. At first, it looked like a shadow. But then, I realized it was a person, just barely visible in the dim light. They were standing completely still, facing the wall. I felt a pit form in my stomach. Another message popped up, they can see you. Suddenly, the person in the video turned around. I gasped. It was a woman, but her face was all wrong. Her eyes were pitch black, like voids, and her mouth was stretched into this grotesque grin, way too wide for her face. It looked like her jaw had been dislocated or something. I wanted to close the browser, but my hands were frozen on the keyboard. I couldn't move. The video feed zoomed in on her face, and I swear, it felt like she was staring directly at me. Then, the messages started flooding the chat box. Run. Get out. You're not safe. Just as I was about to slam my laptop shut, another message appeared. Asterisk, she's in your house. Asterisk, I stopped breathing. My apartment was dead quiet, but suddenly, it didn't feel empty. I could feel someone watching me. Slowly, I turned to look behind me, but of course, no one was there. Still, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very, very wrong. The video feed flickered again, and the woman in the video was now standing much closer to the camera. Her grin was even wider, almost splitting her face in two. My stomach twisted in knots. I finally managed to move, slamming my laptop shut and ripping out the power cord. I sat in silence, my heart pounding in my ears. After a few minutes, I tried to convince myself it was just some sick prank, a creepy video designed to mess with people like me. But then, I heard it. A soft creaking noise came from down the hall. I froze. There shouldn't have been anyone else in my apartment. I lived alone. The creaking got louder, like footsteps. Slow, deliberate. Moving toward my room. I wanted to believe it was just my imagination, that I was freaking myself out over nothing. But the sound was too real. Too close. I grabbed the nearest thing I could use as a weapon, a baseball bat I kept under my bed, and tiptoed to my bedroom door. The hallway was dark, but I could see a shadow, standing at the end of it. I gripped the bat tighter and slowly backed up, my heart racing so fast I thought it might explode. The shadow didn't move. I stared at it, frozen in place, until I realized the shadow wasn't just standing there. It was grinning. The same wide, grotesque grin from the video. I don't remember much after that. I must have blacked out because when I woke up, it was morning. My laptop was still shut, and the apartment was empty. No sign of the shadow, or anyone else for that matter. I told myself it was just a nightmare, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. I haven't been on the dark web since. I deleted everything related to it from my computer, but every now and then, I still hear that creaking noise at night. And when I turn to look, I swear, sometimes, I see her. Just standing there, grinning,